Let me open this up. Radhika Khera, spokesperson of the BJP, will be joining us shortly. Dr. Pooja Tripathi, spokesperson of the Congress, is with us. Professor Badri Narayan, an educationist and social scientist. Vivek Thakur, founder of the Scholars' Den, with us on this as well. Before we get into the politics of it, let me look at the aspect of how bad the situation is as far as the students and aspirants are concerned. Professor Badri Narayan, there is uncertainty. There is disappointment amongst people, amongst aspirants, amongst their parents across the country. The assurances that have come in from the central government, are they enough to assuage those fears?
See, there is nothing enough in this process, but at least government is efficiently responding to the situation. And this committee has been formed. It's a high-power committee. And I think it's a very efficient, eminent people are there. And I think we should trust on them and we should welcome this move of the government, which is going to suggest not only the examination process, but also the structural change in the NTA. So internal changes and the external processual changes, both they are going to suggest. So I think, and also HRD, Education Minister is saying again and again that we will, whatever the possible, to protect the future of the student and to control this kind of mafias, we will do. Recently, this act which came, Public Examination Act. It's a very powerful act, and I think it will ensure to curtail this kind of this greed-generated mafia's impact on education system. So I think that we should trust on this entire process. And Supreme Court, government, both are working on this issue. But there is nothing enough, and we should wait what is happening in coming days. But the politics, which is the issue which you have raised, this is very interesting. Actually, this is the politics of anxiety and the politics of rumor has been combined together in this process. I used to tell कि rumor के बाजार में हर एक दुकान खोलने की जरूरत. So it's a politics which is based on the rumor. No one is thinking about the process. No, everyone says ये कर दो, do this, do that. How one can do that? No, because government is a moral structure also. It has to think about everyone, not only about a group, but about everyone. So it takes time. It takes time to resolve the process. And the education minister, in his press conference, in his actions, every day he is doing something. He is taking action. So I think that we should trust on this entire process which is going on. And the things which have happened, we should not repeat again. And government I think government should try, and government, the posturing which government is giving, it shows that they will going to handle this issue.
Sure. So you say this is the first step in the right direction. You say this is the first step in the right direction, and we of course have to see what happens next. Vivek Thakur, do you agree that all the steps that have been taken so far, that yes, there are issues. Everyone's agreeing. There are no two ways about that. There are issues. There were lapses. The government has admitted that as well. How best to fix it is what we need to look at, and that's what the government seems to be looking at now. Do you agree with that?
No, I don't agree, Poonam. What a step. I don't see any step apart from rhetoric and assurances. And you're saying that keep patience, have faith in the system. On the other hand, you're following double standards, which are very clear. You are asking the students and parents and everyone involved to have patience. Why can't you have patience and hold the counseling process after 8th of July when the hearing is there? You are clearly showing double standards. If you are even 1% concerned about the students of this country, 24 lakh students holding their breath from morning to evening, and they were waiting on 20th of June when HRD Minister was holding press conference, that probably they will be getting a clear action. What is action? There is nothing in action. Everything is only based on words. You just see the timeline. Initially, the HRD minister gives a clean chit to NTA without any investigation. Then he admits that, yes, there was some mistake. Now he admits there will be a panel. One panel was constituted on 9th of June. Another panel is announced on 20th of June. So the game is going panel, only words, no action. And let me again just put this with emphasis. If the government is even 1% concerned and serious on this matter, they should immediately hold the counselling. The ball is in their court, because the Supreme Court very clearly, categorically told them that even if there is 0.001% error, please admit it and rectify. That means Supreme Court has clearly put the ball in your court, the government's court. The first thing that you should do immediately is to put a stay on the counselling. Now, what is the game? How NTA plays all the dirty tricks, committing heinous crimes every time and getting away, fooling the people, fooling the government, fooling the judiciary. See, in COVID times, they are going to play this game that since the counselling has started, on 8th of July, they will be there with all this story that since the counselling has started, nothing can be done now. See, the entire session will be affected. There will be a loss of doctors of the country. And let me remind you, it's not a far away from today. It's the story of 2022. Let me tell you the counseling dates, exact counseling dates of MBBS courses. It started from 14th of October, and it concluded on 14th of December. And you are in such a hurry to conclude it on 6th of July when everyone in the country who is on the street demanding for their rights, demanding for the injustice that has been done to them, they are asking just one thing: please put a stay on the counselling. And this clearly shows that the government is in a fix. Probably those people who have invested lakhs of rupees to get their students through some backdoor in the system, there's a lot of pressure from that lobby.
Sure. Radhika Khera, let me bring you in. It's not just the opposition that's raising doubts. There are several educationists, several concerned parents that are raising these doubts as well. Accountability needs to be fixed. There are questions that are raised of the National Testing Agency, of the body in itself. It's not one exam that we're speaking of, there are multiple of them. In the span of the last 1 week in itself, several exams have been either rescheduled or postponed or held null and void, like this grace mark situation with which this entire controversy began in the first place. So how it is that the government expects the students, the aspirants, the parents of these people to have faith in the government?
See, I absolutely agree. Accountability needs to be fixed, and we are a government who has always been accountable for our actions and towards our people. We are deeply committed to ensuring justice and fairness for all students. We are also committed to ensure that future exams are free from paper leaks, which is why we have taken certain steps. Number one, we have constituted a high-level committee to investigate the same. Number two, the Public Examination Act 2024, or the Anti-Paper Leak Law, which has been notified and has been enacted and has come into effect from Friday midnight, June 21st. Provisions have been made under which there are strict and stringent laws where there is a punishment of 3 to 5 years, which can go up to 10 years depending upon the intensity of the offense. And there is also a provision of fines up to 10 lakhs, which can go up to crores, again, depending on the seriousness of the crime. Now, organized crimes of such for leaking paper, whether it is tampering with the answer sheets, everything will be dealt with very strictly. And we are extremely committed to that. But the sad part is, and it's really appalling to see how the opposition is playing politics on the future of the youth. It is very sad. While they should be standing with the youth and coming up with maybe ideas and stand with the government to solve this issue, because this is something which has been left behind by their governments. We've seen how in the past, when there were the Congress governments in the last 54 years along with the UPA, we've seen an n number of paper leaks, and we've seen that happening in the recent governments also in Rajasthan, whether Rahul Gandhi ji and Priyanka Gandhi ji and their other leaders kept quiet. The same Jairam Ramesh ji who tweets day in, day out, they kept quiet when there were Rajasthan paper leaks. The Chhattisgarh CGPSC exam, the chief minister went on record and said, I will not speak on this issue. Even after the court intervened, he still refused to accept the fact that there has been a problem. And there is a problem in the CGPSC. So we are not like that. We have accepted that there is an issue and that needs to be rectified. Since 2017, we got a new exam system. And there are loopholes in the system which will be rectified. And we will ensure that every student gets justice. So there are students who have not faced any issue due to the paper leak. There are students who have faced issue. Now we have to ensure that justice is served to all of them. And not one is felt left behind. And एक भी बच्चे के दिल में कहते हैं ना, ये नहीं आना चाहिए कि मेरे साथ गलत हुआ. So those who have not gone through the issue of paper leak, they also cannot say that. So it is a very trivial situation right now, which we are sorting out so that all students get the deserved justice and nobody is left behind, and we are fair to each and every person. But where is that
semblance of justice really is the question that is being asked. Yes, a panel has been formed. We don't know when the panel will make its findings public, when they'll be submitted to the government, what the government will do about it after that. There's also the question of the lapses or the flip-flops that were done both by the NTA and by the government right when this controversy erupted. First, they said there were no paper leaks. Then there were arrests made in Bihar and several other states where papers were leaked. Then they said that there is checking and CCTV monitoring outside every center. Eventually, it was found that that was not the case as well. These are all the questions that are in the minds of not just the opposition of the country, but like I said, every single concerned parent and aspirants. But Dr. Pooja Tripathi, the BJP says, yes, we admit. The Education Minister himself comes out and says that I take moral responsibility for what has happened. I know that things are amiss and we are going to be fixing it. Why then not give them the time to fix it?
I think I agree with Poonam. I'll agree with Vivek when he said it's just rhetoric. Right now, Professor Narayan was saying that it's a politics of anxiety. Let me tell you what is it. It's a politics of fixing accountability. When Education Minister goes on record, public record, and says कि ये तो politically motivated protest है, and he taps the back of NTA and gives a complete clean chit of NTA, while from 5th May onwards, the exam was on 5th May, the Economic Offences Unit of Bihar has nabbed some people with paper leaks, have written to NTA, have written to ministry, no responsibility. It's a politics of fixing accountability from top to bottom. It's not just matter of some Chintu, Pintu, Nitish and Sikandar who is being nabbed. It's an interstate organized crime of paper leak, which needs to be, you have to have a structural reform. Education Minister says nothing. We don't want your words of assurance that, I take moral responsibility. You take moral responsibility of harming the future of 24 lakh students. And it's not just students. These are 24 lakh families who are on the streets, and each and every, you take your mic to any student and they'll say they want the NEET examination to be conducted, because it's not just about the 1,563 students who got grace marks and they have been nullified. Is the matter of 6 students from the center in Jhajjar getting close to 720 marks. It's a matter of a school, Jai Jalaram school in Godra, where the paper was leaked the day before. It's a matter of a school in Ranchi where the paper was leaked. It's a matter of Patna. But no, there are no accountability, nothing. We don't want your words of assurance. Where is the disciplinary action on NTA? Where, you have come out with saying, first of all, Education Minister should stop lying to the country. First, he gave a clean chit. Then on the press conference, he said that the bill has been notified, but the bill has been notified last night. Also, the bill comes into play when the paper leak happens. 3 days, 3 major paper leaks, close to 30 lakh plus students, their future is in jeopardy. And still, there is no talk on paper being cancelled. And when do you say that, counseling kharab ho jayegi, you can always delay the counseling. These are the doctors you are producing. Doctors will be responsible for the lives of innocent civilians, innocent people. And what do you want? You want a subpar, submeritorious, fraud doctors coming out of your system? 54,600 students apply for the government seats. I don't talk about the rich and privileged. They have money. They can buy the papers. They can get through the system. But when a system is broken, a student prepares for 2 to 3 years. His future is in jeopardy. He prepares for that 54,600 government medical seats.
Sure.
And when something like this happens, when there's something systemic crimes like this happen, he gubs out of the system. And education was his only ladder for a better life, for a better future.
Absolutely, but like you say, it's a systemic problem. Structural reforms are needed and they can't be done overnight. Which brings me to the question I asked you. Why not give the government time to fix that? That's exactly what they seem to be trying to do.
Committee when 3 days, 3 major papers have been leaked. You cannot, put people not into accountable. First of all, Education Ministry should take accountability of the major hoops that have been happened, the major grievances that have been come to the surface, and he should resign, because this kind of educational integrity structure you are claiming for a third term, 7 years, 70 papers have been leaked. And 3 days, 3 major papers, and you are just saying moral responsibility. Nobody is asking for your moral responsibility. First, tell us what happens to the National Recruitment Agency, which was notified in February 2020, and which was hailed as historic, which was hailed as revolutionary. 4 years later, 1,717 crore of budget later, there is not a single examination that has been held by National Recruitment Agency. It's just like Jumla Fachte Din. And there has
Sure.
been no
So this is not justice, Radhika Khera. This is just Jumla, says the opposition. That heads must roll. Accountability must be fixed. Just by saying that you'll fix accountability, that's not enough.
Well, we always fix everything and we always take strict actions, and we have zero tolerance policy towards corruption, and that is why the country has elected us time and again, and a record third term has been given to Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi ji, and the country refuses to believe the opposition when they come up with these narratives that they try to set and the politics that they try to play. Have you seen what the leaders are doing? It's appalling to see what Mr. Digvijay Singh has said. He has divided the students of the country into Hindu and Muslim. He has gone on to say कि हिंदू बच्चे ज्यादा है, इसलिए भारतीय जनता पार्टी की सरकार को, मोदी जी की सरकार को जल्दी से इस पे इन्वेस्टिगेशन करनी चाहिए. It is a shameful statement that has come from such a big leader, and who is also known as one of the gurus of Rahul Gandhi ji. And not one person from the Congress has come out and condemned it. Has Rahul Gandhi ji come out and condemned the fact that his most senior leader, his guru, his political guru, has come and said that Hindu Musliman to the children, this is what they're trying to do. They have always believed in dividing the society. Even when they were doing the Bharat Jodo Yatra, their own former MP, Member of Parliament, D.K. Shivkumar's brother, D. Suresh, was asking for a separate country for Karnataka. This is their policy, the divisive policy. First, they want to divide the nation. Now they want to divide the students on the basis of their religion.
Sure, but the issue here is exactly that. That is exactly the issue here. Well, the opposition has its voice. We are in a democracy. Everyone should raise questions. Everyone has the right to do so. We must hold our governments responsible. But this kind of politics is not something that the students of this country, that the parents of those students of those in this country expect. And that's really what I want to get in at. Vivek Thakur, yes, there are a lot of things that need to be fixed. The credibility of the National Testing Agency is at stake. And like I said right at the beginning, it's not about one exam, it's about multiple exams that this one body conducts. All of them would come under scrutiny. Then should we not put politics aside and come all together, put all heads together to ensure that the system as a whole is fixed at the earliest?
I think my suggestion is that in all discussions on this NEET issue, there should be a ban from your side also to stop these people like Pooja ji and Radhika ji. 50% of their time was focused on Digvijay Singh, Rahul Gandhi and Tejasvi Yadav. She is saying they are playing politics. 50% of content, Radhika ji, please don't mind, but 50% of your content was focused on that. And I would like to ask it here in front of everyone, have you ever appeared, because you told many things which are factually incorrect, and this is why government is not in a position to take a decision, because the correct information is not reaching them. What is being fed to them by NTA and other people is factually incorrect. It's completely baseless, factless. Radhika ji, have you ever appeared in any competitive exam in your life? Please don't mind.
Yes, I have. Yes, I have. And I have not said anything which is factually incorrect.
Which exam? Which exam?
Excuse me, sir. Sorry. Before you go on to say that I am factually incorrect, I think and saying things that people should not be called, this is a democratic country and it is the choice of the TV channel. If you don't want to call us, that's your choice. But that is not the way to go on with the debate to justify what you're saying. I have given enough entrance exams, sir. I have given factual facts.
I want to correct you factually.
Facts, sir. And you can see my track record. I never spoke out of facts. I spoke on facts.
You are a spokesperson of ruling party.
By the government, and I have spoken of facts. And only once have I spoken about Digvijay Singh ji, about his divisive politics, and that needs to be called out. When your opposition has to talk, and when the opposition has to be responsible, they cannot divide the children on Hindu and Muslim, and you should be that as well.
Okay, let's not digress. Let's also not make this personal.
Yes, please,
Vivek Thakur, my question was very serious. My question was very simple. And I said all politicians. If the BJP or the government is pointing in direction of the Congress, the opposition is also asking questions of the government.
Yeah, they're going off the track completely.
That's exactly the point I'm trying to make. Everybody is off the track here, it seems. And it's all politicians when I say that.
What she was saying that the affected student, not affected student, there is nothing like this in a competitive exam. It's not a board exam that a student getting 98 is not affected and a student getting 96 is affected. The question here is there is a ranking. So if you see things very clearly, they were in 520. I am giving you two ranges. This exam was of 720 marks. Let's take just two ranges, 520 marks to 620 marks and 620 marks to 720 marks. Now, what is special with this category? 620 to 720. This is the range in which students get government medical colleges. Government medical colleges, the approximate fees for 5-year MBBS is around 5 lakhs rupees, whereas in private medical colleges it is 1 crore plus. So a lot of things are at stake. That is why this NEET exam is the
Sure.
most vulnerable exam in this country. Now, in 520 to 620, I'm comparing 2 years. I'm giving the exact data that Radhika ji was factually wrong.
Can I correct you?
520 to 620 in 2023, there were around 91,000 students. In 2024, there are around 1 lakh students. There is a change of only 6 to 7,000. Now try to understand.
What data
But when
are
we
you
come to this category, which is the jackpot category, because you get government medical seats 620 to 720, the jump is huge. Last year there was around 18,000 students. Now there's suddenly 58,000 students. And to utmost surprise, if you analyze the data in the below category, I mean marks below 500, there's actually negative growth. So this tells very clearly the picture that students from this range have actually been given the paper, and there was more than one way. Because
Sure,
the
those
government is
allegations,
like
those
one part.
allegations will have to be investigated. The comparison you're trying to draw is something that will have to be investigated. Where you're getting these figures for is also a question that somebody on the panel asked. But unfortunately, I'm running completely out of time. Dr. Tripathi, you had a point to make. You were interjecting Mr. Thakur. 30 seconds to you before I get in Professor Narayan as well.
I just wanted to correct Vivek. I've studied medicine from my government college. I've studied at AIMS and I've done my MBBS, and it's not 5 lakh rupees. I paid some, I got 30,000 rupees for my MBBS education. So these are the people we are fighting for. When you say opposition is raising the voices, who will raise the voices for the 24 lakh students, the underprivileged students who are fighting for?
And like I said, the opposition has every right in this country. We're a democratic country. Everyone has the right to ask those questions. But we have to find a way forward. When the credibility of a body like the National Testing Agency is under scrutiny and that's at stake, what happens next, Professor Narayan? And that's really what I want to end at. What is the way forward? That is something that we should concentrate on.
Poonam, I think, first of all, I would like to say one thing, that in this debate, everyone, the entire debate is going on in every chamber. Everyone has its position. Everyone has its own politics. Everyone has already made a conclusion that this is the reality, this is the reality. No one is open up to see the processes, and also trust on the processes. The way ahead is, we should trust on the processes and we should trust on the government. Because who is going to do? I think by raising these voices, we can't do anything. We can raise our issues, our voices, and give the idea to the government. And government is working on that line. Government and the Supreme Court. Why Supreme Court didn't say that counseling cancel kar do? Only Supreme Court can see.
Sure.
So the kind of aspiration which we have, that it should done. So this is our demand. We should trust on the. एक दिन का खेल नहीं है.
Absolutely. Like I said, there are structural changes. These are reforms that we are expecting. And this is to ensure that a body as big as the NTA, that oversees exams for a country as big as India, is foolproof. That's really the aim. How we reach that aim is something that will have to be looked into. But the aim should be one for everyone. For every single politician, for every single Indian, that we fix accountability, we ensure that the National Testing Agency is beyond question. That's really what we aim for, and that's what we hope our politicians aim for as well. Unfortunately, I'm completely out of time and I have to end it at that. I thank all my panelists for joining us here and sharing their perspective, and I thank our viewers for joining us.